that minuscule.
We got the greatest law enforcement agencies on the face of the earth here, and it is that minuscule. So you could find a piece of hair that may belong to that suspect, and bingo, if there's bomb tracing material in that vehicle, look at that connection.
That's the connection. That's what they're looking for.
Exactly. Connecting the dots.
The packaging they've got.
Yes.
If there's any connection from that packaging to that vehicle or the man's home, you got him.
And think about this. What if somebody else's fingerprints are on there and not his? You may have another suspect. That's why it's important to protect all of the evidence and the crime scenes.
Chad Jenkins, how long does it take to go through a vehicle like the one that's on the screen that's being taken away? How fast to go through it with a fine-tooth comb?
Well, you have what the FBI will have even in FBI Miami. That was my last duty assignment, was out of the FBI Miami division. So evidence response team, which is specialized agents and analysts who are trained to do the evidence recovery. So they will be the ones, and there's actually a team of them out of the Miami division. So they'll deploy to, obviously, the home of the individual as well as the vehicle to do that. You got to remember, nothing went off, no explosions, thank God. So that helps in the collection of evidence because everything, as we know it right now, is intact. So it'll be, but I mean, you can bet it'll be through the weekend at this point in time, doing both any of the vehicles that the guy owns as well as then his residence.
Chad, tell me, please, if you know, who quarterbacked all of this? Who was the person or the official who brought it all together with all these experts all around the country? Who did that?
Oh, this would have been run out of FBI headquarters. I mean, it was a big enough operation that FBI headquarters would have run it. And we have to remember, I mean, thousands of leads are generated throughout the FBI every single day that are crossed over from one field office to the other. But because of the level of, the level of the threat, the national threat that this played, it would have been, quarterbacked, if you will, out of headquarters. And then, counterterrorism division most likely was second in command at running this operation.
Stephen, how many people do you think were involved in this 48-hour investigation?
In my view, one person. Just one person. I believe that based on the fact that these bombs, these devices were mailed all over the place, he could have had them stocked up and just, after the first news cycle, let me send more out.
Okay, so
I believe there's one.
But you're speculating
I'm speculating
it's just one person
That's
responsible.
Right. Yeah.
All right. How many agents or law enforcement officials were involved in getting him?
Hundreds. And keep in mind, you've got local, state, county, you've got hundreds of agents. This is why it was done so quick. The manpower being poured into this. Great police work.
You know, Chad, I got to tell you, I don't want to be on the run when I'm chased by guys like this, right?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of it's reminiscent of the Boston Marathon bombing. I mean, if you think about that, that was a quick deployment as well. Now, unfortunately, those bombs, those pressure-cooked IEDs did go off, but that was a quick reaction as well. So when the assets need to be deployed and a bad guy needs to be plucked off the street for national security purposes, you can bet your bottom dollar that the FBI and all law enforcement agencies throughout the country come together to make that happen.
I'll say Chad Jenkins, I'll say hats off to the authorities. Great work. Chad, thanks for joining us. Same to you, Stephen.
Hey, listen, you can run, but you can't hide, buddy.
Yeah, that's a good expression. That's right. Stephen, thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
Well, of course, we've got two major stories for you this Friday morning. Yes, an arrest in the suspicious packages case happened in Florida. Details still coming in. Obviously, we bring you everything we've got as soon as we get it. And the other story is a market sell-off. The Dow came back came back more than 100 points after the arrest of this suspect was announced. But big tech, that is still leading this market lower. We're all over it. Back in a second.